Welcome back to episode 22. But you could have found him. You had all the money in the world. Jungkook claimed he knew that Bogum probably didn't know of Taehyung's life in the street in the Vogue community, but then it Jungkook did. Maybe if something could have been done back then, Taehyung wouldn't have to do. I did, and I tracked him down to apologize. Bogum spoke, looking reminiscent as he stared at no particular point on the wall. He slammed the door in my face. After that, I let him be. It hurts just imagining how Taehyung felt at that moment. Hurt. However, Jungkook couldn't find the will to hate this man. After all, if things wouldn't turn out the way that they did, Jungkook would have never met the Raven. Jungkook would have never stopped for directions. That night, he probably would still be bending to his father's will and looking at Bogum now. Jungkook deemed the words sincere. How he is okay now, Jungkook muttered, just not loud enough for Bogum to hear. Immediately understanding, a small smile rose on Bogum's lips. I knew he would. Bogum said he was not going to go into details about things like how Jungkook knew Taehyung in the first place. It was a touchy subject and there was no reason to continue it. Thank you for telling me that, Jungkook said honestly. Bogum shook his head modestly before turning his attention back to the briefcase on the table in front of them. Now, would you like to discuss more about? Jungkook stared at the papers. Yeah, I would. Up in the hotel, Taehyung was staying true to his words and packing his things. When they got to the dresser, he got a short laugh. Had been clean and completely stain-free due to the miracle detergent these rich people used. Some of the maids and had insisted it would be a tragedy to throw it away. Taehyung clutched at the fabric, not knowing what to do. He was pretty sure he would never need a dress again. Maybe keep it as for pranks. Give it to one that the maids Yoon had mostly certainly guessed over it, and when she was helping him with makeover, a shrill ring cut off Taehyung's thought. Taehyung laid the dress down and made his way over to the phone. Hello, Taehyung answered easily, leaning over to the table as he pressed the phone to his ear. Jungkook's threat to not answer the phone had not deterred the Raven in the least. Taehyung, surprised to hear his name coming from the Jungkook's phone. Taehyung tried to figure out why that voice sounded familiar. His name had been said in the rushed, yes, unsure manners, definitely male, but Taehyung couldn't quite place. Yeah, who is this? Taehyung asked defensively. A sicky relief sigh sounded through the phone before it was quickly cut off. This is he was the immediate answer. Taehyung's thought process went from to what the heck is he calling for me for before the segment could continue in a rush. Taehyung was good. Came to Seoul Hospital right now. You are still with that rich guy, right? Minno's hurt and they wouldn't see him because we don't have money, and Minno gave me this number. What do you mean? Minno is hurt. Taehyung stopped it at the instantly. He is bleeding and I think his leg is broken and they wouldn't see him. He shook on at the end. Taehyung thought he could very well be crying. How Seoul hospital, right? Emergency room? I will be there in a second, Taehyung said quickly, tossing the phone on his its stand and jetting out of the room. He couldn't even bottle to put shoes on and wheeled to take stairs instead of waiting for the elevator. Minna didn't have the money for hospital bills. None of the people in the neighborhood did. No one, no matter what the injury, they would try to rough it and out and heal themselves. They had no choice. That's why Minno at the emergency rooms and warning alarms off in Taehyung's mind. He wouldn't be there. Taehyung wished he would have asked more to quell his humming heart, but he knew getting there as fast as possible was the best possible option. He still didn't rest his mind, however. How did Minho get such a serious injury anyway? Was there some accident and it felt his blood boil, vicious at the final thought that crossed his mind, but didn't explore it any further because they dashed out into the lobby. He halted, looking around. It didn't take him long to spot the thick head of bonnet hair and screwed over. Jungkook then called in attention before he was even at the man's side. Both Jungkook and Bogum looked up, their eyes widening at the arrival. Jungkook was immediately concerned by the panicked look and stood up. We have to go to Seoul hospital right now, Taehyung demanded. What's wrong? Jungkook asked quickly, looking him over. Hospital. Taehyung wasn't hurt, was he? Minna's hurt, and the stupid hospital wouldn't take him without payment, Taehyung replied, nearly bouncing on his feet. He wanted to go to as soon as he can. I will have to call the limo. Took him to the front, Jungkook said, placing a hand on Taehyung's shoulder and turning him around to start walking in the front desk. Calm down. My ride is right out front, Bogum spoke up, leaning forward to snap the briefcase shut. Jungkook and Taehyung both paused and looked over their shoulder. Taehyung looked confused. Please, Bogum spoke, gesturing towards the front door. Jungkook merely glanced at Taehyung for confirmation. Taehyung hesitated for a brief second, stumbling, looking away before draftily walking towards the front doors. Minho was what matters here. Within a minute, they were all settled in the back of Bogum's limo, heading to the hospital. Taehyung and Jungkook sat on one side with Taehyung's eyes trained on the glass window next to him. The man Bogum sat on the other, looking rather deep in thoughts. Calm down, Jungkook muttered again, seeing how frightening Taehyung was. He really wasn't expecting the raven to turn to him. I can't calm down, Taehyung screeched, ruby eyes flashing. If your father had anything to do with this, I swear I will kill him, Jungkook tensed. My father, Jungkook asked, a flash of anger ripping through him when Taehyung turned back to glass in avoidance. What do you mean by that? Jungkook asked, silence. Jungkook tried again, but Raven refused to look at him. I wouldn't say things like that in public, Bogum suggested. Freak you, Taehyung yelled, snapping his head to glare at the man across from them. A tense silence fell again. After pushing his lips together tightly, Taehyung turned once again to the window. Jungkook sighed, albeit lightly, in case it alligated the man sitting next to him, and glanced at Bogum uncomfortably. The other man was Least until they saw Minho, things were happening too fast to keep up with. The limo came to a stop right outside the emergency room's door, and Taehyung was first to open the car door. Jungkook hurried in behind him, not even checking if Bogum followed. The waiting room they stumbled onto was blindly white, as most hospitals were, and inhabited by another 6 or 7 people standing around the victim. Minho lied, spread over a row of tears, blood sat in his pants on the outside of his thigh, one leg limp where it led. The Minho's face was contorted in pain, and his eyes looked. Taehyung said his name as he ran over. The others standing around, including he, greeted him loudly, all beginning to talk at once. Jungkook walked straight over to the welcoming window, assuring that he would pay for all the costs and demanding Minho receive treatment at once. With the reassurance of money, a stretcher was brought out in a rush. Minho, what happened? Taehyung asked, moving back so the nurse could get him on the stretcher. The smile Minho gave him was meant to be a flippant bleat, but it came out strained, and he was lifted. Stupid people and their mates, Minho muttered. And say much more, however, as the nurses whisked him down the hallway. Mates, Taehyung repeated, watching him so warily before turning to he. Do you know what happened? I couldn't get very much out of him either, he admitted, looking down and right like a kicked puppy. A made deal was gone wrong as far as I know. I don't know how he broke his legs, he said. Made deal? Taehyung repeated again, more to himself than anything, before sighing tiredly. Raising a hand to his head, he kneeled. The skin clenched dryly. I have told him to stay out of that silly. I'm so glad they took him, though, he changed the subject, turning to Jungkook, who had stayed back and silently absorbed. Thank you. With the came a deep bow, to which Jungkook waved his hand in the air quickly. No need for that. He is taken care for now, Jungkook responded. Even so, the other people in the waiting room also thanked him. Taehyung smiled at Jungkook before glancing over to the front doors. Bogum was inside, leaning up against the wall with his hands in his pocket with the timid frown. Taehyung turned his way. You can leave. Thank you for the ride. Taehyung spoke as sorry was right on his tip of tongue for the rush snap in the limo, but he couldn't bring himself to say it. Bogum looked at Taehyung, then seemed somewhat revealed before turning attention to Jungkook. We will be in contact. Yeah, Jungkook assured. Bogum nodded and pushed off the wall. Until then, I hope your friend is alright, Taehyung, Bogum said sincerely. Yeah, thanks, Taehyung responded lowly, watching the man until he was out of the sight. Jungkook watched the exchange, choosing to step forward and fling his arms around Taehyung's shoulder. Taehyung blinked and looked up curiously. Excuse us, Jungkook spoke to other people in the room before leading Taehyung the same way. Bogum and had just disappeared. Hey, we are not leaving until I'm sure Bogum is alright. They said I just want to talk to you. Jungkook answered, pushing the door open. Bogum's limo was just exist in the parking lot, and the two sat on the curb. Evening twin light had settled within the sky. Dusk rapidly approaching. The air was cool but not uncomfortable, so and the two companions sat side by side, staring up at the scarce amount of clouds invisible. Thanks for paying the hospital bills. Taehyung spoke, his legs extending straight. I have already been thanked enough, Jungkook insisted, knees bent and elbows rested on the top of them. He was curious about the people inside. No doubt they were regular acquaintances of the house. They seemed pretty close by the way they had been hovering around Minho. Jungkook gauged in the situation. You had to watch each other's back. You had paid a whole a lot more than what you originally bargained me for, Taehyung said with a snort, referring to food, clothing, and now the hospital bills. Jungkook merely shook his head. Today, about you said in the car, Taehyung flicked the people away and drew his knees towards his chest, wrapping his arm around them. They mumbled, looking off into the distance before continuing. Well, that day that you attended and arranged it, your father decided it was a good idea to come talk to me at the hotel. They said, what? Why would he have to see you? Jungle claimed better yet. Why was he only hearing this now? Taehyung's smile was artificial. Just to remind me the trace I am and let me get out, Taehyung said with a shrug. The words were laced with the bitterness, and Jungkook picked up right away. Amy animously tore through the bonnet. Did he threaten you? Jungkook asked, said angrily, loudly leaning closer to Raven. The image of the bruise on Taehyung's cheek flashed through Jungkook's mind, making him falter before he reached up and took hold on Taehyung's chin, turning his face. Did he? Taehyung backed away from the hold, stumbling, turning his wounded cheek away from Jungkook's gaze. Yeah, but I got him back, Taehyung replied, smugly through apprehension still clouded his features. How have you seen him since? Did I scar? Jungkook exclaimed, hearing heart racing at the implication of that. What the heck had he missed? Taehyung, why didn't you tell me about this? Wait, what? Were you going to leave early because of him? He scared you that much? Because it really had a hard thing to comprehend this. This is the man who insulted Mr. Jian face to face and had nerves to walk bareback in his presence, and was not a man who was scared easily, which was exactly why Jungkook was so concerned. And when Taehyung's face squared up in anger, he ventured, yes, I was scared, Taehyung exclaimed, releasing his legs to place his hands on the curb and then immediately putting them back around his legs in In his nervousness, I have never had to use my knife in self-defense before. I was prepared for the day when I would have to, but I really didn't expect it to be in those circumstances. Your knife? Jungkook said quickly, worriedly. You? Why did he try to keep hitting you? No, he wanted a first-hand demonstration on why the heck you keep me around, Taehyung said. Jungkook stared, trying to wrap his mind around that as Taehyung pressed on. After he tried that evident, put it past the man to pull some behind the scene trick just to get me away from you. When I heard about Minho, I thought, thank God in the heavens above that wasn't the case. Jungkook, I didn't know what would I would do if Taehyung stopped talking. When Jungkook leaned over and wrapped his arm around his shaking body, drawing him in close, Taehyung breathed in deeply, his face resting against the soft cotton fabric of Jungkook's t-shirt. It was awkward with them both, so tense, but Taehyung was beyond happy with it. Nonetheless, it helped to calm down him. Jungkook, on the other hand, was raging. So everyone, what do you think about the episode? I will see you again in the next episode. Till then, take care, safe, and comment it down whatever you feel about this episode. Bye.